A man uncovers the dark operations of a time-manipulating biotech company when overwhelming debt compels his wife to sacrifice 40 years of her life. Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a sci-fi thriller from 2023 titled Paradise. The movie begins with an advertisement explaining the setup of a large medical company in Germany called Aeon, which has invented a unique treatment. The treatment can take time away from someone's life and give it to another person who needs it. People in dire need of money can sell their age using this treatment, but the only condition is that the treatment will make them look older. Aeon keeps this time and gives it to someone else who needs it, making them younger again. The scene changes to Max, who is talking to a migrant family and explaining how he sold 5 years of his life to pay for college. He also mentions that the chances of his family getting the paperwork to live peacefully are almost zero, but the money could help them start a business. That's how he successfully convinces them that their teenage son Dennis should sell 15 years of his life. Only people who are truly desperate for education or to improve their lives agree to do this for a large sum of money. Aeon claims that typically it's only people who have nothing else to sell but their time who do this. In this world, those who frequently sell their age are usually migrants and asylum seekers who have no other option but to sell their time and age to survive. On the other hand, the company provides special treatment to scholars, artists, and famous individuals. Even Nobel Prize winners are now receiving benefits from Aeon's time transfer. The main character, Max, works for Aeon as a donation manager, persuading people to sell their age. When Max returns to work, he wears a raincoat because protesters outside throw things at the workers. Inside, Max attends a ceremony where he is named the Best Manager of the Year. The company's founder, Sophie Thyssen, then delivers a speech about how essential their work is. At one of Aeon's clinics, patients were having a regular day until a man pretending to be an employee pulled out a gun and started shooting people. He killed approximately 15 patients before spraying an A symbol on the wall and escaping. Despite many people benefiting from Aeon's technology, some groups, such as the Adam Group, are against it. They claim that Aeon is making society more unequal. Later, Sophie, accompanied by her guards Kaya and Nowak, watches a video sent by Lilith, the leader of Adam's group. Lilith promises that more chaos is coming. Max arrives home and prepares a special dinner to celebrate winning his award with his wife Elena. They still have to finish paying for the apartment they acquired in debt, but they dream of having a house by the lake before retiring so that their children can enjoy living in it. Before eating, they spend some intimate time together. The following day, Max and Elena go to visit Elena's parents. Elena's father makes a joke about buying extra years for himself, but it's quite evident that he is being passive-aggressive and does not approve of Max's job, which he considers unethical. Elena intervenes and stops the conversation before it escalates, but Max wishes she would defend him instead of remaining neutral. On their way back home, they discover that their apartment is on fire. Not only did they lose all their possessions, but when they went to their insurance company, they found out that they wouldn't cover the incident because the reports suggested that the fire started from a candle, which they believed to be negligence. Elena insists she always makes sure to put out candles before leaving, but the official report says otherwise, and they can't change it. Adding to their troubles, Max finds out that to secure a loan from the bank, Elena used 40 years of her life as collateral, something she never mentioned to him. Max offers to donate his years, but he's told no compatible recipients are available. He is confused as he has donated before, but it turns out the person who received his donation has passed away. As they leave the insurance company, the police arrest Elena to prevent her from leaving the country. Since they still owed money for the bank loan they took for their apartment, Max and Elena had to find a way to come up with the money quickly. Max reaches out to Aeon's CEO, Sophie Thyssen, requesting a loan. He promises to work extra hard to pay it back. Sophie tells him to send his documents and she'll see what she can do. Later, Sophie meets with the shareholders who are tired of spending resources on checking for compatible DNA. This is because it means some people might never get the chance to buy extra years. They believe genetic matches are rare anyway. A few days later, Max's lawyer informs him that Sophie has not responded to their calls or emails. Elena, who is a doctor at a community hospital, is also unable to come up with the money. In a world where big corporations hold significant power, working at a community hospital is often seen as a form of charity work. Max's earnings played a significant role in helping him and his partner buy an apartment, and they hope to repay the loan eventually. Max is left with no choice but to visit the clinic to see Elena. However, he is told to wait until the procedure is completed. Max becomes desperate and attempts to locate Elena in other rooms, but Kaya and her team block his path. Meanwhile, Elena prepares for the procedure. When the lawyer reads the contract to her, Elena loses control and begins to fight against the doctors. They administer an injection to make her fall asleep. The authorities decide to take away 38 years of Elena's life, and she is then connected to a machine that transfers 38 years to a person in another room, whose face is hidden. After a few days, the surgery causes Elena to age by 38 years, turning her into an elderly woman. Max and Elena's relationship becomes very sour and awkward, and although Max tries to comfort and support Elena, she becomes very distant. This operation resolves their financial debt, but sadly, it comes at the cost of Elena's youth. Before this occurred, Max attempted to offer his own time, but it was declined because there was no one compatible to receive it. Max was confused because he had donated his time before, so there should have been someone compatible. However, it turned out that the recipient had recently passed away. This, along with Elena's insistence that she didn't leave any candles lit in their apartment, made the fire incident seem suspicious. One morning, Max was called to the company and informed that he had received a promotion with a salary increase. However, he felt that it was useless now. Angry and frustrated, Max tried to talk to Sophie, but Kaya prevented him from getting close to her. Sophie ignored him and drove away, but Max noticed that she was starting to look younger. Back home, Max tries to express his love towards Elena by telling her that he still loves her. However, Elena thought that he was just feeling sorry for her and asked him to leave her alone. Max takes a walk and goes to the park to have a beer. While there, a girl tries to sell him illegal drugs, but Max refuses and tells her to go away. After Max leaves, Elena starts feeling a strange pain in her belly and hurries to the bathtub, where she begins to bleed. Later, it was revealed that there was another plan behind the apartment fire. Aeon's CEO, Sophie Thyssen, was secretly looking for someone whose age was compatible with hers, so they could donate their time to her. She claimed that she was looking for research purposes to make age donation accessible to everyone, but in reality, she needed someone compatible to stay alive long enough for her to continue her work. A few years ago, Aeon found a person named Elena, who was a good match for Sophie. Max Thoma, their best donation manager, was sent to persuade Elena to donate her time. However, things took a different turn, and Max and Elena ended up falling in love and getting married. Even though Elena did not reveal her age willingly, Sophie did not give up on her. The fire that occurred was actually a plan orchestrated by Aeon to make Elena give up her time so Sophie could live longer. Since Max worked for Aeon, the company knew all about his financial problems and dreams of a better life. They added the condition of forced age transfer to the bank loan contract and waited to carry out their secret plan. The only person compatible with Max had recently died in a bike accident, which makes it likely that Aeon had him killed. This meant Max couldn't donate his time, even though he wanted to. Therefore, Elena had to undergo the surgery in case something went wrong. The fire was probably caused by Aeon, and it's likely that Sophie's security agent, Kaya, broke into the apartment and set the fire. This ensured that Sophie would get the time she needed to live longer. Meanwhile, Elena is in the hospital due to severe pain. Max stays by her side and is shocked to discover that Elena was pregnant before the procedure. The bleeding was due to a miscarriage, as her older body couldn't sustain the pregnancy. Exhausted by their struggles, Elena asks Max to take her to her parents' house, where she plans to stay. Heartbroken, Max promises to find a way to reverse the procedure, but Elena's father scolds him, reminding him that he contributed to their current predicament. Desperate for answers, Max approaches a girl in the park and inquires about where she underwent her procedure. He suspects it must have been conducted illegally, as Aeon, the only legal facility, does not perform such procedures on children. The girl informs him of an underground group in Lithuania that conducts these surgeries illegally for profit, despite Aeon being the only legally sanctioned facility. He's told to pick up a burner phone and fake passports in a shady neighborhood, and that he needs to get hold of the recipient who has been given Elena's time. Later, Max hides in a hotel and decides to kidnap Sophie because he's convinced that her getting younger and refusing to help him isn't a coincidence. For the next few days, he follows Sophie around until one afternoon. He sees her alone in a cemetery with no guards. Concealing his face, Max approaches the now youthful Sophie. She immediately starts shouting for help and attempts to flee, but Max quickly catches up and subdues her with a taser until she loses consciousness. To mislead any investigators, he then paints an A on a nearby grave, implicating the Adam group in the abduction. Even though the woman he took is much younger than Sophie, Max believes it's because of the age transplant. The woman claims she's actually Sophie's daughter, Marie, but Max doesn't believe her. For a while, it's unclear who she really is. Elena notices she doesn't have any surgery marks on her body and starts to believe she's Marie, but Max reminds her that the recipient wouldn't have marks because their skin would be rejuvenated. The young woman says she's not proud of her mother's actions, but then she tries to run away from Max and Elena. Eventually, they find out she really is Sophie's daughter, Marie Thyssen, and she had nothing to do with the age transplant. At the cemetery, Kaya and Nowak begin investigating the recent events. Nowak examines the security camera footage and successfully identifies the car used by Max. Although the transactions were initially made through a fake account, Nowak skillfully traces them back to Max's real account. Armed with this information, they set out to find him. Nowak suggests involving the police, but Kaya disagrees, preferring to handle the situation themselves. However, by the time they arrive at the abandoned building, they discover that the couple has already fled the scene. Max and everyone believed that Sophie only had one daughter who died from progeria a long time ago. However, Sophie had kept her other daughter, Marie, hidden from the world, probably to protect her. Although they got the wrong person, Max still wants to proceed with the transplant, thinking it would make Elena younger. He believes that Marie can get her time back from Sophie. But things get complicated when the rebel group, the Adam group, gets involved. The leader of the Adam group, Lilith, found out about Max and Elena's secret trip to Lithuania because they were reported as fugitives on German news. Lilith and her group took Max and Elena hostage and demanded that Max make a deal with Sophie Thyssen, whom the Adam group wanted to kidnap. An ambush was set up, but Kaya figured out the plan, and a big gunfight broke out. During the fight, Lilith died, and Sophie got shot and injured, but Max, Elena, and Marie managed to stay safe. After the shootout, they still had a chance to meet the Lithuanian gang and get the reverse transplant. However, Max suddenly decided to let Marie go because forcefully taking her would make them no better than the evil corporations they were fighting against. But Elena wanted to reverse her age more than ever now. Max says Marie can't reverse her age because her mother might be dead, but Elena doesn't agree. Max and Elena's relationship comes to a sudden end as Elena leaves Max to embark on a journey. Elena successfully receives an age transplant from Marie at a secret meeting spot. Fortunately, Marie has the same DNA as Sophie, which makes her compatible with Elena. After the surgery, Marie leaves and is found by a truck driver who takes her back to Sophie. Meanwhile, Max heads to the nearest refugee camp in Lithuania and discovers that an illegal gang is making age transplantation a business, much like Aeon. With this new understanding and his experiences, Max decides he must stop this awful procedure. At the end of Paradise, Max becomes the new leader of the Adam group and leads an attack on an Aeon office campus. Elena, now young again after her successful age transplant, finds love with someone new and is pregnant. Sophie remains cruel and selfish, telling Marie she can't give her time to her through a transplant because Sophie needs to be alive for her research. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.